One of the most important things with any investment is how long does it take for you to get your money out the deal? In other words, return on investment, all right? I wanna know when I get my money out so I can go again and again and again. That's how you scale, right? But in rent to rent, a lot of you are getting this wrong. So in this video, I'm gonna share with you my unique formula to make sure that you break even quickly, and it's gonna allow you to scale even faster. Sound good? You're in the right place. If you're brand new, I'm Simon. I specialize in rent to rent, okay? But not any kind of rent to rent. I do rent to rent 2.0, which means we create massive cash flow from really, really sexy properties, all right? HMO and SA, and we don't go out there and buy stupid stuff. We reinvest that into assets that we own for the long term. If that sounds good, you're in the right place, okay? Because I set up this channel just to give as much free value and content as possible to help as many people as possible. And I've said it once, I'll say it again. Anybody that does more rent to rent niche specific content, come at me. Comment below. Let me know if anybody's doing more than me, all right? If anybody's putting out the consistent level of rent to rent content, because that's another one of my goals, to be the most consistent, the largest rent to rent specific content provider, a place where you know that if you come on Google and you search it, or YouTube or podcasts, you're gonna find the answer to all of your questions. That's what it's all about, because I wanna help you smash it. Let's get into today's video. Now, when I started, right? And you go on these courses and stuff, they talk about breaking even within 6 months, which is pretty standard. But what's happened is, as I've continued to scale, I've realized that the sweet spot is 3 months, really. The sweet spot is 3 months, because if something goes wrong and you're at 4 or 5, that's fine. But if something goes wrong at 6 months, before I know it, I'm at 8, 9, or 10, and I don't like that. But there's an extra caveat here. So let's just say you invest £5,000 into a property deal, and the property deal makes £1,000 every single month. That means it's going to take you 5 months to break even, give or take, right? But then you know what? Something occurred to me. If 4,000 of that's on furniture and 1,000 of it was, let's just say, on, I know, a new carpet and paint in one room, that's not really just, because if the deal was to end tomorrow, you wouldn't end up with nothing. You would pull all your furniture out and you could use that in another property, or worst case scenario, you could sell it. So the way I like to work it out is as follows, right? I split the total investment into the rent to rent deal into company assets, which in this case would be £4,000 on furniture, all right? Any additional fixtures and fittings, a TV, a table, whatever. And then £1,000 is the property investment, all right? The property investment. And that's very, very different. So what I'm willing to do is I take 50% of the company assets, because that's a reasonable amount for the depreciation. If I buy furniture for £4,000 and I have to sell it, I might get £2,000 back, all right? So that's fair. So instead of it being 4,000 here, it's 2,000. And then I do take into consideration the entire property investment budget, which was 1,000. So in real terms, my investment here is £3,000. So if I'm making £1,000 a month, I divide the 3,000 by the £1,000 I'm making every month, which gives me a 3-month true break-even point. And that for me it was liberating, because it made so many more deals work for me, but it also reflected the true investment. And then also what it did was it meant that I was more open to investing in the company assets at a higher level. And I was a little bit more strict on what property investments I invested in, because if you paint a wall, or you put a new carpet in, or you fitted blinds in, you ain't taking them. So that is definitely lost money that you're never gonna see again. So that's how I approach it. What happens if, even with my formula, it takes 7 or 8 months to break even? Well, don't worry, okay? It doesn't mean that you can't do the deal. If it's a 5-year agreement, then there's still over 4 years of cash flow to enjoy. However, I would then look at the other factors. How good is the property in terms of the overall prospects, the parking, the location, all right? Some of the features, how many bathrooms, the kitchen. I would look at all these different elements. And then if I was really confident in terms of all those things, I'm happy to invest a bit more. But just remember this one thing, you do not own these properties. So in the unlikely event something goes wrong, you don't want to invest too much. I hear people invest in 10, 12, 15 grand. Do not do it. Keep the budget tight, stick to the break-even formula I've just shared with you, and you will absolutely smash it. Because worst case scenario, you give 2 months notice, you give the property back, you may have lost a few grand, but you'll live, learn, and you'll move forward. I hope you found this useful. If you have, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.